What we're going to look at now is the design process and design briefs. Starting with the design process, this is what the whole portfolio is based upon. It's going from nothing to something, and your creativity comes in the middle. So all parts of the design process start with a blank piece of paper, nothing in here. Okay, you should start this portfolio with an open mind, no preconceived ideas. If not, you run the risk of limiting yourself in terms of marks. We're going to use a metaphor or an example for our first journey through the design process. So the design processes always start with a problem, and the problem we're going to use is this one: Hitler and the Nazis. Hitler and the Nazis took over Germany, 1933, and they had aspirations for world domination, as we all know. We're going to focus in a little bit more now on a particular problem. And that particular problem was this. This is called a Messerschmitt, and it was a aeroplane that was really, really good. It was like groundbreaking, and the Nazis had this as part of their air force. In Britain, we knew that the Nazis, should I say, were a bit intent on world domination, and we had a bit of a problem because our aeroplanes looked like this and they weren't as good as the Messerschmitts. What we did then was we decided we need something better, and different aeroplane manufacturers started to design different types of aeroplanes, and they came up with some good designs. They modelled and they tested those designs, and then they turned them into real life prototypes. And then, luckily for Britain and the world, we came up with things like this, the Spitfire, which was a match for the Messerschmitt. That's the end of that journey through the design process. It's an extreme example, of course, but it's a good one. The problem, Nazi Germany. The solution, the Spitfire. All right then, next we're going to look at design problems. These fit into two sort of groups, roughly. So macro design problems are giant problems, problems facing the world. Examples include climate change, sustainability, food security. These are massive problems, which it would be amazing if humanity could solve these problems. If we could stop having famines, if we could have global temperatures under control, if we could start making things in a more sustainable way. What you have to be aware of is that for your GCSE DT, you are extremely unlikely to solve these problems. So we don't think of problems like this. Maybe when you are adults in the future, you might do work that helps to solve this. And we'd be really pleased if you did. But at GCSE DT, don't worry about things like this. These are too big, these problems. What we need to look at is micro design problems, small scale, things like cables getting in an untidy mess, things like getting a puncture on your bicycle, things that happen to everybody every day, losing your keys, micro problems that you have a chance of solving or coming up with a solution that helps. These are the things you need to focus on. Little, small scale problems, not giant problems. Okay, what we're going to move on to now is how to create a design brief. Now, I would always suggest that maybe a better, more understandable way to say design brief is a mission statement. So if we refer back to our opening slide, Here is a design brief. Nazi Germany has a very powerful air force and the UK needs to be able to defend itself from air attack. Design and prototype an aeroplane that is capable of 300 miles per hour, has 8 machine guns and can fly at 30,000 feet. The aeroplane should be very manoeuvrable and should carry a single pilot. That is a design brief for the Spitfire. So the Spitfire can do all of those things. So let's sum up what a design brief is made of then. It's a short paragraph. So my one there is 3 sentences long for the Spitfire. It states the problem to begin with. In this case, Nazi Germany has a very powerful air force and the UK needs to be able to defend itself from air attack. And then this is the difficult bit. It vaguely describes the features of the design that are necessary to solve the problem. This is where people get things wrong. They are either too vague or they are far too specific. You've got to be nice and in the middle, and sharing your work with your teacher will help us check that you are creating a good design brief when the time comes. Let's look at some examples. So here's one. Standing up gets very tiring. Design and make a product that helps people to rest their legs with a comfortable and anthropometrically correct platform. Have a think about what kind of product you might design responding to that design brief. Hopefully you've got it by now. It would be something like a chair. Let's move on to the next one. Some people have poor vision. Lenses can solve this problem. Design and make a product that helps people to wear lenses comfortably in front of their eyes. The design can incorporate various styles. Again, have a think. What type of product could that be? Hopefully by now you've thought that that might be a pair of glasses. Last one. Travelling long distances takes a lot of time and effort. Design and make a product that can transport 4 people long distances at reasonably high speed. The product should be as sustainable as possible. Again, have a think. Hopefully by now you've guessed what it will be. This one is a little bit more specific though. So it's a car, but because of this part of the design brief, I've decided that this should be an electric car, making it more sustainable than an internal combustion engine car. What we'll look at now is some bad examples, how not to do this. So the first one, for the chair. Make a chair that is yellow. First of all, this is far too brief. It's far too short. It doesn't have enough detail in it. It's also, weirdly, in a strange way, too specific. Because it said make a chair that is yellow. Well, that immediately cuts down your options when you're designing. Next one. Design and make a pair of glasses that has a slightly curved frames, tortoiseshell pattern, and half rims. The problem with this design brief is that it is far too specific. That has cut down your options for designing immediately. You can now come up with only maybe 1 or 2 very slightly different designs. Last one. Design something that does a useful job and helps people to solve a really important problem. It could use some materials and lots of different kinds of manufacturing techniques. The problem with this is that there is no way of getting from that to an electric car except by chance. This is far too vague. So this one, far too specific. This one, far too vague. You need to be somewhere nicely in the middle. Again, any questions, send them to Miss Dilnut or myself. Share your portfolio with us as per the other video, and if you are starting to make any errors, we will pick them up and we will let you know. Thank you.